You can switch here. You can lower the volume. So you really. And then do the fade. Okay.
Okay.
Welcome to New York City Housing Authority's public hearing on draft fiscal year 2027 annual plan. I am DeAndre Van Houston Thomas, Vice President of Resident Services, and I will serve as your moderator this evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us for this virtual and in-person NYCHA public hearing. In a moment, I will discuss the interpretation services available this evening, both in here and for those who are joining us via Zoom. Then there will be a brief overview of the public hearing process as well as the annual plan, introductions of NYCHA's board members, and brief remarks by NYCHA's board chair, Jamie Rubin, and NYCHA CEO, Lisa Bogahayat. We will then conclude with comments from attendees.
It's okay.
There are sign language interpreters available for the deaf or hard of hearing who will be visible on video and in person for the duration of this meeting. Right, she's to my right, to your left, at the end of the stage area. There will also be Spanish, Russian, Mandarin, Cantonese interpreters available by Zoom, by phone, and in person. Please visit the interpretation table in the lobby if you need assistance. We will first ask the interpreters who are in person to introduce themselves, beginning with Spanish, Russian, then Mandarin, and Cantonese. Spanish.
Gracias por acompañarnos en esta audiencia pública anual de la Autoridad de Vivienda de la Ciudad de Nueva York. Para recibir servicios de interpretación en español, por favor diríjanse a la entrada en nuestra mesa de servicios de idiomas. Ahí podemos darle un aparato de interpretación para que reciba la interpretación de la audiencia completa en español. Bienvenidos.
Russian.
Добрый вечер. Добро пожаловать на сегодняшнее слушание проекта плана жилищного управления города Нью-Йорка на 2027 год. Сегодняшнее слушание посвящено проекту плана жилищного управления города Нью-Йорка на 2027 год. Если вам нужны услуги устного перевода, пожалуйста, пройдите в вестибюль с чтобы переводчиков и получить аппарат, переговорный аппарат, для того, чтобы прослушать русский перевод. Большое спасибо.
Thank you for that. Mandarin?
晚上好，各位晚上好，欢迎参加你们市法务局年度计划公开听证会。大会现场会提供同声翻译服務，如果有需要，請到會場外領取耳機收聽，謝謝。各位晚上好，歡迎參加紐約市房屋局年度計劃公開聽證會。大會現場將設有同聲翻譯嘅服務，如果有需要，請到會場外嘅簽到處領取耳機收聽，多謝。
Thank you. Cantonese? Both? Okay, thank you so much for double duty. Appreciate it. Now we will ask our Zoom interpreters to do the same, beginning with Spanish, Russian, then Mandarin, and Cantonese. Spanish.
Hola, buenas tardes. Gracias por reunirse con nosotros. Si usted desea escuchar esta reunión en su dispositivo móvil en español, puede llamar al 646-558-8656. Y posterior a esto, el ID de la reunión es el 331-425-8640 y al final la tecla numeral. Por favor, mantener su micrófono cerrado en toda instancia, a menos de que se les sea indicado. Gracias. Spanish announcement complete.
Russian?
Good evening. Добрый вечер, уважаемая русскоязычная аудитория. Если вы подключились удаленно и хотите воспользоваться услугами синхронного перевода, то, пожалуйста, наберите по телефону номер 646-558-8656 и введите код 804-869-1448 решетка. И еще раз, для дистанционного синхронного перевода данного слушания необходимо набрать по телефону номер 646-558-8656 и ввести код 804-869-1448 решетка. Убедительная просьба выключить микрофоны ваших телефонов. Спасибо. Thank you.
Much appreciated. Mandarin?
大家晚上好，欢迎参加今天晚上纽约市法务局公开听证会。如果需要国语的，请拨646-558-8656。会议号码是461-857-9342，5号打井号。再重复一遍，需要国语的，请拨646-558-8656。会议号码是461-857-9342，5号打井号。谢谢大家。Mandarin is complete.
And finally, Cantonese.
OK， 大家晚上好。今日我哋嘅聽證會咧，全程會提供呢個翻譯服務嘅。有需要嘅話咧，請喺手機就打646-558-8656，跟住輸入密碼848-608，執行4睇好。就喺嗰邊啦，係646-558-8656，輸入會議號係848-608-304聽好。多謝大家。Thank you.
Thank you to our in-person as well as virtual interpreters. Much appreciated. Please note that the hearing is being recorded and transcribed by stenographers. In accordance with Section 5A of the United States Housing Act of 1937 as amended, housing authorities are required to develop, with review and input from residents and the general public, an annual plan for the coming year, and gather input on the plan from residents and the general public. Federal law allows a public housing authority to modify or amend its annual plan. Significant amendments to the plan must also be shared in a public forum to provide residents and the general public the opportunity to comment. Again, thank you all for taking the time to attend our virtual and in-person public hearing. We appreciate that you have made this a priority and are here with us this evening. This public hearing is also currently being live streamed on YouTube, and the recording of this hearing will be available at on NYCHA's website after the hearing has concluded. On June 12, 2026, NYCHA released the draft fiscal year 2027 annual plan and is seeking feedback from stakeholders, including residents, on the draft plan. Executive summaries on the draft plan are available in English, Spanish, Chinese, and Russian on NYCHA's website and at the sign-in table in the lobby. As part of the annual planning process, NYCHA met with members of the Resident Advisory Board, RAB, and citywide council of presidents (CCOP) 6 times between April and June of this year. The draft fiscal year 2027 annual plan was shared with all RAD delegates and the resident association presidents. I would like to thank the 9 members of the CCOP and their RAD delegates representing each of the CCOP 10 districts, including 5 Section 8 residents. We encourage residents and the public to provide written comments on the draft fiscal plan 2027. You can provide comments via email, fax, regular mail, or here at the public hearing this evening. The purpose of this public hearing is to obtain the views and comments and recommendations of the public on the draft fiscal 2027 annual plan. This document is not final and it will be modified before it is submitted to HUD. Please understand, however, that this evening is not a forum for verbal exchange. NYCHA representatives will not engage in discussions with the speakers, nor will we respond to questions. They are present to hear your comments about the aforementioned documents. Resource tables offering information on programs and opportunities that may be of interest to you are set up in the lobby. Distributing material is not allowed in this theater area. If you have leaflets or brochures you would like to share, please leave them at the resource table in the lobby. At this time, I would like to introduce our board members. On my right, your left, Jamie Rubin, Chair, Victor A. Gonzalez, Vice Chair, Greg Belafonte, Member, Paula Gavin, Member, James McCoy, Member, Raymond Miller, Member, Joan Talley, Member, and NYCHA's Chief Executive Officer, Lisa Bova-Hyatt, and Chief Operating Officer, Eva Trimble. We are also joined by Captain Mark Casanova from the NYPD. We will now hear from our chair, Jamie Rubin.
Thank you. You'll hear in a moment from CEO Lisa Bova-Hyatt, who's to my left, about where NYCHA stands at this pivotal moment in its history. So I will keep my remarks short and just give a quick overview from my perspective. As all of you know, New York broadly is confronting a decades-long housing crisis, more severe today than ever. The city's vacancy rate is at a record low 1.4%, and effectively 0% for apartments available at rents that are actually affordable to low and middle-income New Yorkers. As such, NYCHA is an essential part of New York City's affordable housing strategy. We're grateful to Mayor Zohran Mamdani, by Deputy Mayor Leila Bozorg, that in their work to date and in their housing plan block by block, they've put NYCHA at the forefront of their plans for the next 4 years, thereby implicitly recognizing the importance of NYCHA to their work. More than 500,000 New Yorkers depend on NYCHA for a stable, affordable home. For many decades, as you all know, public housing suffered from chronic disinvestment at every level of government, federal, state, and local, leaving its residents to bear the consequences of rapidly aging infrastructure and deteriorating conditions. Most of our buildings were built ending in the late 60s. With no investment since then, we know what happens to infrastructure that is neglected in that way. We see it everywhere, including from NYCHA to MTA and elsewhere in the city. Today, NYCHA's team, led by Lisa, is working very hard to reverse that history by tackling long-standing issues like lead, mold, heating, broken elevators, and overall building conditions, while also making the investments necessary to preserve the homes for the next generation of New Yorkers, bring them in effect to the stable level that they should have been had we been investing all along. Lead remediation and vacant apartment readiness to modernization efforts over the next several years, we hope to see residents' quality of life improve while preserving the affordability that is critical to keep these families safe and stably housed and living in New York City. As you know, every few years, NYCHA is required to conduct through an outside agency what's called a physical need assessment, a 20-year physical need assessment, or PNA, which is designed, using it's very detailed, and it's designed to give an estimate, and it's only an estimate, of how much money, in effect, if we had today, if we could invest it all today, would be required to bring NYCHA's entire system up to a state of good repair. That number historically has gone up dramatically. It was 17 billion several years ago. It grew rapidly to about 38 billion. The last P&A was 78 billion. I'm happy to tell you that the number is finally leveled off and is starting to go back down as a result of the work that's been done over the last several years. It's a very recent phenomenon, but it is absolutely critical that we keep that number from going up. What's given us the ability to start the number going back down? Well, it's the capital, largely the capital that's been invested in NYCHA over the last several years, thanks to the good work of a couple of mayoral administrations at this point, hard work by our delegation from Washington, help from the state, and creative other programs, including PACT or RAD. Through PACT, we've invested over $10 billion extra in capital that never would have been invested had we relied on the government. I'm also happy to say that every year we get in the neighborhood of $1 billion of extra capital from our friends in Washington, and of course the city contributes as much as possible and makes forward commitments of at least $1 billion a year, often more. We get in the neighborhood of $300 to $500 million from the state, so it all adds up. So conditions are improving, which is why we're able to preserve thousands of apartments, make major capital investments, not only in our converted Section 8 portfolio, but of course the Section 9 portfolio. The challenge remains enormous. We can make as many sustained investments as we want, but the fact is decades and decades of disinvestment have left us with an enormous hole to crawl out of. Thankfully, we've got some advantages that we're starting to use, and the situation is improving. Along the way, NYCHA is listening to residents every step of the way, ensuring that our efforts reflect the needs and priorities of the people who call home NYCHA home. This is the work that we must continue together. It's the work that's symbolized by our coming before you every year to deliver our annual report and hear from our residents with their comments and questions. With residents, our employees, our partners at every level of government, we must take a whole of society response to address the affordable housing crisis and, of course, the situation we find ourselves in today with NYCHA. Preserving NYCHA means preserving one of New York City's greatest public assets for generations to come. It's the work that the senior team at NYCHA has dedicated itself to. And I thank them for their hard work, and I thank our residents for helping us in that mission.
Thank you, Chairwoman. We will now hear from remarks from our CEO, Lisa Boba-Hyatt.
Thank you, Deandra, for the introduction. And thank you to the NYCHA community for taking the time to participate this evening, including NYCHA staff and board members, community advocates and elected officials, our partners at the NYPD, and of course, the residents we serve. It's an exciting and pivotal moment here at the Authority. Mayor Mamdani recently released the administration's housing plan, block by block, a housing plan for a new era. And NYCHA is a central part of it. With an unprecedented investment from the city, $5.6 billion over the next several years, NYCHA will be able to address major capital needs at our properties, enhance our responsiveness to residents' needs, comprehensively renovate thousands of homes through our PACT and trust programs, explore new tools to create new public and affordable housing, and further support residents with job training and other economic mobility programs. This evening, we're eager to hear from you to get your input on the draft fiscal year 2027 annual plan that Deandra mentioned. But before we get your feedback, I would like to take a moment to update you on the comprehensive and intensive work that is underway to transform your homes, your quality of life, and the Authority overall. The foundation for this work is our efforts to improve living conditions through major repairs, renovations, and investments at our properties so that they can continue to serve as safe, decent, permanently affordable homes for NYCHA families for generations to come. This encompasses various initiatives to address the pillar areas of the HUD agreement. That is, the areas that most impact residents, like lead-based paint, mold, heat, elevators, pest and waste management, and apartment inspections, as well as the top-to-bottom building and apartment revitalizations carried out through our major housing preservation programs like PACT, the Trust, and comprehensive modernization known as COMPLET. The progress and the results are real, and they're making a difference for residents and their quality of life across our hundreds of developments in all 5 boroughs. For example, pest complaints are down by 58%. Heat outages are down by 24%. Elevator outages are down by almost 40%. Open mold work orders are down by 84%. We've abated lead in over 20,000 apartments, and we've inspected over 106,000 apartments so far this year. We're improving the way we work, becoming more efficient by overhauling management and shift work for our properties and our neighborhoods. While we acknowledge that there is always more work that needs to be done, we're proud of the progress we're making to transform the authority and better serve you. We wouldn't be able to make progress without our partnership with you, our primary stakeholders. Engaging residents and connecting the community to life-changing resources is another fundamental part of our mission. That's why we're training thousands of resident leaders and staff on our memorandum of agreement around resident engagement. We're connecting thousands of residents to economic opportunity through amazing initiatives like the NYCHA Resident Training Academy and the Child Care Business Pathways program, so they can follow their passions and gain valuable job and career skills. Resident safety also remains a focus through programs that serve our youth, as well as our collaboration with other city agencies that foster safety in creative and comprehensive ways. On behalf of my colleagues at the Authority, I want to thank you for your vital feedback. I look forward to our continued partnership and service to the NYCHA community, and I look forward to hearing your comments.
Thank you, CEO Lola Hyatt. We hope that many of you will take this opportunity to share your comments about the draft fiscal year 2027 annual plan. Now I will review the process for commenting to ensure the event continues to run smoothly. Attendees who submitted a request to speak in person today will be called on to speak in order of submission, alternating between in-person attendees and virtual attendees on Zoom and on the phone. Each speaker is allowed 2 minutes to speak. You will see a countdown clock here in the theater and on the screen via Zoom. Please keep an eye on the clock at the center of the stage so that you will know when your time limit is approaching. We expect high volume of speakers and want to make sure that everyone has a chance to share their comments, so please adhere to the time limit. If you have additional comments or if you have an issue that concerns only you or your apartment, you can fill out a resident comment card at the sign-in tables in the lobby. They will then be collected by NYCHA staff. You may type your name, development, address, apartment number, contact information, and comment in the Zoom Q&A box. Or you can submit written comments via email to Annual Plan Comments, one word, at nycha.nyc.gov. Staff from our Operations and Property Management departments are joining us this evening and will review the comments received. If you are here in person and wish to speak, you may fill out a speaker slip, which is available at the sign-in tables in the lobby. If you are joining via Zoom or by phone, use the raised hand function in Zoom or press star 9 on your phone to request to speak. The order of speakers will be 1, individuals who submitted a speaker slip in person here today, and 2, individuals with hands raised in Zoom. For those on Zoom, when called on to speak, please ensure your microphone is not muted. If you are dialing in by phone, we will call the last 4 digits of your phone number, and you will need to press star 6 to unmute yourself. If you are not responsive or no longer wish to speak, when your name or phone number is called, I will move on to the next speaker. Please remember that we are here to listen to comments on the draft fiscal year 2027 annual plan. Demeaning, vulgar, or discriminatory language, as well as personal comments or attacks on residents' representatives, public attendees, or NYCHA staff will not tolerate. We reserve the right to immediately move to the next speaker in the queue if comments are deemed inappropriate. Audience members are similarly requested to be respectful and refrain from any actions which disrupt the proceedings. Disruptions impact the ability of others to provide their oral comments. In the event any individual attempts to prevent others from providing comments, a warning will be given. If the disruptions continue, we will pause the hearing and the individual will be asked to leave so that we can regain order and continue receiving comments. Please be considerate of your neighbors and follow these instructions. Let us begin with comments from attendees who submitted a request to speak. When I call on you, please state your name and your development or affiliation, then share your comment. For our attendees here in the theater, please speak only from the microphones at the front of the theater. If you need assistance, please raise your hand and someone will come to you with a microphone. For our Zoom and phone attendees, when called, please unmute yourself and begin speaking. When you're finished speaking and your time is up, please mute yourself so that others can be heard. As a reminder, you have 2 minutes to speak. To ensure we hear from everyone, we will strictly enforce that time limit. There's a time clock on the Zoom for those who are joining us virtually, and a time clock on the stage for those who are in-person attendees. We encourage residents and the public to provide written comments on the draft fiscal year 2027 annual plan. Comments may be submitted through August 1st, 2026. We will now call up the first 2 speakers here in person. So speaker from speaker slip number 1, Sandy Ryburn, I am so sorry for that. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name, it is not intentional.
Good evening. The Fulton-Elliott-Chelsea plan repeatedly promotes Section 8 conversions as the solution to NYCHA's financial problems. But for Fulton and Elliott-Chelsea, it's simply not about funding repairs. It's the mechanism being used to facilitate demolition, disposition of public housing, and the erasure of communities, and the transfer of management authority to related companies, the developers of Hudson Yards. That's a policy choice, not an inevitability, and it's your choice. Section 9 public housing was created to preserve permanent public housing owned and operated for the public benefit. Once developments are converted to project-based Section 8 through RAD and PACT, that historic public housing status is fundamentally altered. The answer to decades of underfunding must not be privatization by another name. Every dollar used to advance the Fulton-Elliott-Chelsea demolition in Section 8 moves NYCHA further away from its core public mission and deeper into dependency on private developers. Respectfully, I ask NYCHA to remove any funding or authorization in this annual plan which advances the demolition, advances Section 8 conversion, and instead commit those resources toward preserving Section 9 public housing for future New York City generations. You will own it otherwise. Thank you.
Speaker number 2, Teresa Coles-Kagan.
I'm going to read from an email that I had written to Senator Claire. It's about safety.
Step closer to the mic, please.
It's pertaining to the safety. I live in grand houses, and I have been contacting my local leaders in hopes that something can be achieved. The homeless invasion in the building in which I live has been ongoing,
Okay, we're good to go.
and I have been constantly complaining for years, and little or nothing has been done. My complaints have fallen on what are my rights as a senior citizen. The building is a breeding ground for these homeless individuals, and this was due to the building entrance doors being damaged beyond repair. They just got repaired July 21st after 3 years of the entrance doors being wide open for any and everything to come in. On January 23rd, 2025, in the beginning of the year, there was a dead, vagrant individual on the 8th floor of my building. At December, the end of the year, there was a domestic murder. This is due to the entrance door being open all day, all night, easy access for any or anyone to venture in. Okay? And I hopefully and prayerfully would have been contacting the appropriate agencies to correct the issue. And this has been ongoing, which was not conducive to anyone. And my well-being and my mental health has been affected by that. I have became a prisoner in my apartment for the last few years, and I was tired of allowing fear to run the show. It was too much to handle, and it negatively impacted me. So going forward, I'm hoping for a positive response, and like I indicated, the doors, just one door has just been replaced the 21st of this month after 3 years of being.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you so much for that comment. Speaker number 3, Michelle Spinner. Speaker number 3, Michelle Spinner.
My name is Michelle Spinner. I am a 42-year resident of London Terrace Gardens, the 1,000-unit building 1 block south of the Elliott Chelsea houses. I am the Vice President of the London Terrace Tenants Association, and I speak on their behalf when I say we stand in solidarity with the NYCHA residents in opposition to the demolition of the FEC properties. This project is a land grab, putting private interests in control of public property. We feel strongly that public land should remain under public control, and FEC should remain under Section 9. Given the related companies reaching previous agreements with our community, we have grave concerns they may bail partway through the project, leaving the NYCHA residents completely in the lurch, the neighborhood significantly worse off than they found it, and taxpayers holding the bag. During the 16+ years of demolition and construction, our Chelsea community will suffer toxic air quality, extreme noise levels even after maximum mitigation, massive increases in traffic congestion, light pollution, and dirt. And the dirt under these buildings is severely contaminated. It is safest for everyone to leave it undisturbed. This project would change Chelsea irrevocably for the worse, resulting in loss of public space, loss of 370 mature trees, loss of the unique character of the neighborhood, loss of light and sky, shadows over much of each campus, including the PS33 playgrounds, shadows over the High Line. Combined sewer overflows in the Hudson are calculated to double. And there's more, but the worst consequence of NYCHA's proposed demolition plan would be the destruction of a long-standing community, a diverse, multi-generational community with deep roots and internal support systems. Demolishing these buildings destroys this community and victimizes all of us who live in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Spinner. Speaker number 4, Samantha Ortiz.
Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Ortiz, and I'm a resident of Fulton Houses. I'm in Building 10, Apartment 1D. I'm here to speak against the demolition for me and all my neighbors and all public housing residents throughout the 5 boroughs. We do not want demolition. Our buildings are found sound and strong. We want rehabilitation, no privatization, no demolition, no displacement. Keep public housing public and fund Section 9, not Section 8. Listen to us, the residents. We are here speaking. This is affecting us and our families. I'm here speaking for the future. I'm a single mother of 9 children. I have 22 grandchildren. When I leave this earth, where are they going to live? Keep public housing public.
Next speaker is our City Council member, Chair of the Housing Committee, Chris Banks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Councilmember Chris Banks. I represent the 42nd Council District, home to 12 NYCHA developments and thousands of public housing residents. I also serve as the chair for the Public Housing Committee. I came tonight to tonight's hearing after spending months reviewing NYCHA's budget requests, examining the authority's enormous capital needs, and hearing directly from residents across the 5 boroughs about the challenges they continue to face. And throughout this year's budget process, and in the weeks I've spent reviewing the annual draft plan, one thing has become clear. Despite repeated promises that housing is the administration's top priority, NYCHA residents continue to wait sidelined for the level of investment and urgency and attention they deserve. After reviewing this plan, I'm left with many questions. How is it that the largest public housing authority in North America continues to be asked to do more with less, while New York City proclaims itself as a national leader on housing? NYCHA is home to more than 500,000 New Yorkers living in over 77,000 apartments across 335 developments. But yet, when we examine this year's budget and this annual plan, NYCHA once again finds itself piecing together solutions through RAD-PAC conversions, preservation trust transactions, air right deals, public-private partnerships, rather than receiving a robust public investment that public housing deserves. And that should concern every New Yorker. Public housing was affordable. Public housing was affordable housing before affordable housing became affordable. Since 1934, NYCHA has housed over 110 senior veterans.
Thank you, Councilmember Banks. Please continue.
Yet throughout this document, we see repeated references to conversions, transfers, monetization strategies, partnerships with private developers. What we don't see is a serious commitment from the government to fully fund and preserve public housing. The documents also point to the number of apartments converted through RAD-PAC as evidence of success. But conversions is not a metric that residents experience. They experience whether their apartments are free of mold. They experience whether they have reliable heat in the winter and functioning elevators year-round. Residents experience whether repairs are complete. Residents experience whether management is responsive when they need them. Far too many residents continue to tell us that those basic conditions remain unacceptable. So when NYCHA leadership joined me just about a year ago, and they visited my particular district, they heard stories from residents, and these are RAD-PAC developments, of aggressive evictions that were taking place, lack of responsiveness when issues arise, and a failure to address core infrastructure issues like plumbing. Important to note that these are all PAC and RAD converted developments, which bring me to my next question. How does a private development firm, a company that supposedly specializes in housing development and rehabilitation, fail to address something as fundamental as plumbing? Was that not part of the work scope? After billions of dollars in renovations and capital investments, residents are still dealing with recurring leaks, backups, and other plumbing issues that should have been dealt with at first in these problems. That in itself is baffling. NYCHA acknowledges ongoing challenges with lead paint, mold remediation, aging boilers, elevated infrastructure, waste management, vacant apartments, long-term capital needs. The authority reports nearly 400 active capital projects and billions of dollars in planned spending, yet residents continue to live with conditions that would never be considered acceptable elsewhere in the other housing system. That disconnect must be addressed. And I'm also concerned by the degree of which public housing policy has become synonymous with financial transactions and asset transfers. This plan discusses the continued expansion of transfer programs, the sale of air rights, the shifting of responsibilities to outside entities, while fundamental quality of life issues remain unresolved. At what point do we stop and ask a simple question? If public housing is worth preserving, why aren't we invested directly in it through comprehensive modernization? The answer cannot always be there, as there's no alternative. Government creates alternatives through political alternatives through budgets. Government creates alternatives through priorities. And after this year's budget negotiations, many residents are justified in asking whether NYCHA was truly treated as a priority. Particularly troubling is the fact that this plan contemplates lead abatement stretching well into the next decade, while more than 1,500 apartments remain vacant pending modernization. In the middle of the housing crisis, these realities should be setting off an alarm bells across the entire level of government. NYCHA residents deserve the same urgency that this city brings to every other housing initiative, not years, but for now. Not after another study, and not after another financial arrangement. They deserve it now. Tonight's hearing is an opportunity to examine whether NYCHA continues on a trajectory that truly residents and that protects residents and public housing for future generations, or whether it will simply reconfirm to residents, as we have known for years, that NYCHA needs new leadership and fresh ideas.
Thank you, Councilmember Banks. We will now have the first four speakers. Order, please. Order, please. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. We will now have the first four speakers via Zoom on phone state their name one by one. First up, we have Assemblymember Linda Rosenthal. Ms. Rosenthal, unmute yourself and begin.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great, thank you. Good evening, I'm Assemblymember Linda B. Rosenthal, Chair of the Assembly Committee on Housing, and an ardent champion for preserving one of the most precious resources within New York City, our public housing stock. I've long represented Amsterdam Houses Addition, and Harborview Terrace on the west side of Manhattan. But I speak for all tenants when I say that we need a state and local government that deeply invests in a system that keeps more than 400,000 people housed. The federal government has once again voted to scale back its operational and capital funding for public housing authorities across the nation. Instead of providing localities with billions of dollars in much needed funding to address festering mold, unabated leaks, overextended elevators, vermin infestations, and crumbling facades, Congress, with the president's backing, increased funding for RAD PAC conversions by $2 billion. Congress also passed legislation lifting the yearly cap on RAD PAC conversions, making it extraordinarily clear that conversion is the name of the federal government's game. While there are hints of that recognition in NYCHA's draft annual plan, I was pleased to see the agency's renewed commitment to building 100% affordable housing on many of its properties. Underused land, such as parking lots and storage spaces, should be viewed as vital opportunities to build more housing and to reinvest in NYCHA's Section 9 properties. With that said, NYCHA and the city have not moved forward despite repeated requests from my office, Harborview Tenants, the local Community Board 4, and others to make good on its 21-year-old promise to build 155 100% affordable units at Harborview Terrace, units that were promised in exchange for the creation of luxury apartments at Hudson Yards. Additionally, while I appreciate that NYCHA is being continually asked to do more with less, I have concerns about the RAD-PAC conversions that have been completed. The draft annual plan states that PAC has delivered more than $3 billion in repairs to converted developments. However, more must be done by NYCHA to ensure that promised repairs are actually completed by developers. Advocates at Linden Houses contend that plumbing and other infrastructure repairs were never made. I've heard from those living at other RAD-PAC developments that apartment improvements are shoddily done. NYCHA has to devote more resources to overseeing these developments and making sure the work promised is actually done in a proper way. As New York City experiences more intense weather events, it's critical we protect our affordable housing stock from consequences of climate change. I appreciate that NYCHA specifically included allocating funding in the draft plan to meet this imperative head-on. There's an infinite amount of work to be done, especially when it comes to aging infrastructure. And I will continue to partner with NYCHA to pass vital legislation, including heat pump installation in next year's session. We also must invest more heavily in mold remediation. The Ombudsman Call Center has been instrumental in addressing long-standing complaints, but we must do more to protect residents' health by further investing in this vital program. I will continue, just as I have for years, to hold NYCHA accountable when necessary and also be a partner at the state level as we fight for more funding and much-needed resources. I thank the residents for being here tonight to make their voices heard. I hope their voices are heard. And as chair of the Assembly Committee on Housing, I will continue the fight to preserve public housing. I will be submitting more detailed and longer remarks to the board. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Member Rosenthal. Our second Zoom caller, Enrique Golmundo. Please unmute yourself and share your comment.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Enrique Golmundo. I live in City Summit, in Upper Manhattan. My question is about the recycling and trash stations as part of the innovation pilot program within the comprehensive modernization initiative. As these programs aim to minimize garbage handling for staff, saving time and money, resident engagement is essential. Enhancing the recycle experience for residents by encouraging them and participation. One potential incentive is to create a monetary reward from recycling that could be applied as a credit to our rate. Living in Manhattan, a narrow island with limited land resources, presents challenges such as rat infestations. These problems are primarily caused by garbage, which negatively impact quality of life and poses health and safety risks. Engaging residents in the recycling program through incentive is essential for the upcoming fiscal year. Additionally, responsible and thoughtful waste management can serve as a foundation for creating a community-based program that improves residents' quality of life while also providing economic benefits. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Corbundo. Speaker number 3 on Zoom, William Natalie, please unmute yourself and begin your comment. Second call for William Natalie on Zoom.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please continue.
Yes, hi. My name is Natalie, and I am here to address 10 specific policy failures in NYCHA's housing choice voucher process that are actively affecting our elderly disabled applicants right now and today. There's no written accessible notification when a voucher is issued, no written notification when a voucher expires, no proactive outreach during the voucher term for elderly or disabled applicants, no multi-channel accessible communication standard violating 24 CFR Part 8 and the ADA, no dedicated specialized unit for elderly and disabled housing choice voucher applicants, no independent external review of reasonable accommodation denials, no conflict of interest prohibition. The same coordinator who denies the request decides if it can be reviewed. There is no written hearing rights notice included with denials, a federal due process requirement. No accountability when NYCHA uses a lapse it caused to deny the accommodation meant to fix it. No ongoing independent audit of reasonable accommodation denials against current HUD law, the ADA, Section 504 in the New York State Human Rights Law. Here is where this is not history. It is happening right now. My mother is 73 and in 1992 was shot in the head twice in her own Queens home. 2 of her children were murdered. She's survived by jumping from a 3rd floor window documented by the Queens County District Attorney. She never asked to see for anything until now that she's elderly. As of today, July 29, 2026, she still does not have housing. Every one of these 10 failures happened to her. The home is not in the past, it's ongoing. And while we are standing here tonight, other elderly disabled voucher holders are hitting these same 10 broken steps. With no daughter who knows the law, no one to fight for them, and no process inside to catch them before the door closes. This annual plan must do 3 things, not what.
I was muted,
So I'm not sure. Can I continue?
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Okay.
So we're moving on to our next Zoom caller, Lily Loriano. Please unmute yourself and begin your comment. Second call for Lily Loriano on Zoom. Please unmute yourself and begin your comment. Third and final request for Lily Loriano to unmute yourself and begin your comment. Okay, we are going to move forward with the next 4 folks currently in the auditorium. 1 second. We have speaker number 5, Jacqueline Lara. Please come to the mic and begin your comment.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Lara. I am a proud NYCHA resident and a member of the Fulton, Elliott, Chelsea team. And thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm here because I'm of the annual plan and the financial plan about more than budgets. It's more than budgets. They are about the future of our homes, our communities, and the people who call NYCHA home. One of the greatest concerns facing my community is the proposal to demolish the Fulton, Elliott, Chelsea houses. We have been told this plan is necessary, but the residents continue to ask more important questions that remain unanswered. We deserve full transparency about the cost, the alternatives that were considered, the long-term impact on the residents, and how these decisions are being made.
Demolition should never be treated as the only solution when people's homes and communities are at stake. Before moving forward with such a life-changing proposal, NYCHA should fully explore preservation and rehabilitation options and ensure that residents have a genuine voice in the decision-making process. I know personally what it means to lose a home. Before receiving my NYCHA apartment, I experienced homelessness and lived in a shelter. This apartment gave me stability, dignity, and hope. It is more than a place to live. The thought of losing or seeing my community dismantled is heartbreaking. The annual plan should reflect NYCHA's commitment to preserving public housing, investing in repairs, strengthening residents' engagement, and protecting the community that have already existed. Financial decisions must be prioritized people, not just buildings. I respectfully ask NYCHA and the board to commit to greater transparency, meaningful resident participation, and a careful review of alternatives before moving forward with this demolition.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Lara. Thank you for your comments. Moving on. Speaker slip number 6, Miriam Salis. Miriam Salis.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miriam Salis. I am a resident of Fulton Houses, and I stand before you today to strongly oppose to the demolition of our homes. A building can be replaced, but a community cannot. For many of us, this is where we have raised our children, cared for our elders, and built relationships that have lasted for decades. Demolishing our homes threatens to break apart the community that so many people depend on. We know our building needs repairs. We have been asking for repairs for years, but the answer for years of neglect should not be demolition. Residents should not have to lose their homes because maintenance and investments were delayed. We deserve safe and affordable housing without being forced to give up the communities we love. Our concerns should not be overlooked or dismissed. Thank you so much.
Speaker number 7, Yolanda Matthews. Please step up to the mic, Ms. Matthews.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yolanda Matthews. I heard enough complaints about the private development. I'm from Marcus Garvey Village in Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York. A whole lot of beautiful buildings, and you walk around, so see them going up in Marcus Garvey Village. I live in my apartment for 50 years, living with mold, sewage backup. On my block alone, every building is 8 buildings on my block. There's not one apartment that a tenant in didn't suffer with cancer, the ones who made it and survived. 88 tenants in that development alone died, and these politicians know about it, so they better not say they did. Section 8 knew about it, because anytime I send my papers in it, why no one ain't investigating that? Every time you turn around, there's another management in there, another sewage backup. They paint over the mold and mildew, and then you'll come and pass the apartment with inspection. You don't listen to the tenants. Right now, they have a cabinet door that I video. New cabinets you'll give, the cabinets that we have is better. My cabinet door slides up and down if it don't drop on your toe while you washing the dishes. I am a senior, 71 years old, and I want to know what is going on with the money that you'll give to these private developments. Oh, their buildings are lovely on the outside. But the building that was there for Marcus Garvey Village that you gave all these developments money to build, they are not taking care of the buildings that you'll look at. And who apartments do you all investigate and inspect? Because you're not doing a good job. There's no way there should be a sewage line along the line where tenants live at in their basement apartment.
Thank you. Speaker number 8, Polanco. I am so sorry, I'm not understanding the last name, just the first.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. As we look ahead to NYCHA's 2027 annual plan, I'm speaking as a resident of King Towers, a wonderful community living living on a super block between West 112 and 150th Street. Right at the start, we must address the future of our vacant land only. Not supporting any demolition efforts, we need extensive modernization. King Towers has only 10 residential buildings, and even with all structures included, we occupy less than 20% of our superblock's total square footage. The large west-facing Fifth Avenue land is currently used as a dog park, hangout spot for parties, smoking, barbecues, and a refuge for homeless individuals. This land is not serving our long-term needs. We need economically mixed redevelopment that generates revenue to modernize our community and finally stabilize our pressing needs. Our infrastructure is deteriorating. The external boiler pipe connections, hot water lines, and shared hot water tanks are outdated and fragile. Every season brings breakdowns, outages, and emergency repairs. Our elevators fail regularly, leaving seniors, parents, and residents with disabilities struggling just to make it to their homes. Quality of life concerns have intensified. Street homeless individuals are living in parks, stairwells, and near garbage. Dumpster diving has become the norm, resulting in a development-wide road infestation. Many residents placed here through public programs also need supportive housing services that NYCHA alone cannot provide. We're also facing urgent safety concerns. In one building, a resident experiencing suicidal crises regularly turns on her gas line, fills up the lobby area with gas, the smell of gas, and those are dangerous for the entire building. Agencies like DHS must be part of the coordinated long-term response that includes crisis intervention, rehousing, homeless suites, 24/7, and ongoing case management support. These challenges are
Thank
not
you, Ms.
unique.
Polanco.
Can I finish?
Time's up.
Okay, soft reminder, folks. The time limit for sharing your comments is 2 minutes. We have many folks waiting to share their comments, and so we want to be mindful and respectful of their time and attendance in this space as well. So we're going to be very strict with the 2-minute time limit. Thank you so much. Again, the time limit for comments is 2 minutes. I really appreciate your comments, Ms. Polanco, but we need to move forward with the next commenter. We need to move forward. So we're going to move on to the next grouping of folks on our Zoom virtual call. Patricia Hodge Stephens, please unmute yourself and share your comment. Second call for Patricia Hodge Stephens. Last and final call for Patricia Hodge Stephens. Moving on. Next on our Zoom call, we have Anna Crespo. Anna, please unmute yourself and begin your comments.
Hello, Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Ms. Crespo. Continue.
Good evening, everyone. I'm calling from building 42007 Unity Tower in Coney Island, and my concern is with the demolition. I know that they're gonna move us to certain apartments that's available in the community. Now, there's a lot of people in this building that have worked on their apartment, be in that housing, where they work on the apartments. My question to you guys is, us people that have worked in our bathrooms and have worked in our kitchen, will they accommodate us for those things that we have, the money that we have put in our bathrooms and kitchen? Those are my concerns, because we have elderly people in this building that also, their apartments were changed over to, their bathrooms to showers, because they have falling to the bathroom, they can't lift up their legs. Apartments like that, like for instance, my apartment, my mom is 86 years old, and she has, a problem lifting up her legs. So housing did come in, change her shower, her tub to a shower. And I want to know, are they going to keep it like that, or are they going to remove that and do a bathtub? Hello?
Ms. Crystal?
Hello,
Ms.
can
Crystal?
you hear me?
This meeting is just for the purpose of getting comments from our attendees on Zoom and in person. For your particular situation, you can send a note to the email that was shared earlier in this presentation, and it will be passed along to the appropriate parties.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Crespo.
Yes.
Next up on virtual, we have Cynthia Tibbs. Ms. Tibbs, unmute yourself and begin your comments.
My name is Cynthia Tibbs. I am the TA president of the Reserve Brownstones in the Upper West Side. To say that the real estate team has been less than transparent and truthful with us is being mild about it. Since March, when they had the original meeting with the tenants, telling them that they were going into this program, they have sent surveyors up here. They have walked through our development. They told us they had architects coming. I found out they were not architects. They were actually interns. They were supposed to be surveying, and I got them on camera in my community room playing with leftover Christmas toys that I gave away to children in December. How professional is that? I have also asked for a moratorium to be put on this program due to the harassment that we've gotten from surveys. We have been told by the real estate team that they would let us be involved in the decision-making process. However, we have not heard from them since March. We have been told that this is the first time all of us will be expected to move out of our apartments without being told where or how that process looks. There's been no communication with the real estate team since March, and yet they have made statements to the public and on the media that we will be signing leases in either December or January, and that deciding on who the developers will be will happen in the fall. How is that going to happen when they have not met with any 10 of the presidents up here yet? Once again, I was told by the real estate team that as much as they would like to work with me, they don't have to, they're NYCHA. And yet that is how you say you're going to be transparent with us? This whole PAC thing is nothing but a real estate grab. There is no transparency. There is no communication. Otherwise, NYCHA would not have been silent for the entire summer. Let me know whenever they're going to decide to talk to the presidents again. And if this program is so great, why is it other developments have had to resort to doing raffles and offering tenants PlayStation 5s in order to get them to sign their lease? Thanks for muting me.
Next up, we have Assembly Member Gail Brewer. If you would make your way to the mic to share your comments, that would be greatly appreciated.
I'm Council Member Gail Brewer. Thank you very much. Couple of things. I represent the Upper West Side from 55th to 96th Street. I do want to thank, but sometimes it's nice to say something positive about what NYCHA is doing in terms of lead abatement and you've done some work with the work orders and mold, etc. But just as Cynthia Tibbs said, I raised Cynthia Tibbs. That's why she knows what she's doing. She's very smart. And the brownstones and the scatter site are what is up in terms of PAC, rad PAC on the Upper West Side. This would be the place to do it right, which is meet constantly. We know that we probably can't fight it, but we sure can fight to do it right. And that's what we're asking. You can't expect people to follow instructions that are no good. And so I'm saying if you're going to do this program, for God's sake, do it right, communicate, and make sure that people are getting good information and that every step of the way they have input. On the Upper West Side, Community Board 7 has a rad PAC task force. They meet regularly. And Garden Riverside has a repair and safety task force bringing in community groups. At least we have communication. And NYCHA has shown up at the meetings, but then something happens between NYCHA showing up and reality on the ground. That has to stop, number one. Number two, Harbor View is another development. I want to say two things. I want to thank the nonprofit that works with Harbor View because you worked with Bill Ackman. Not easy to do that. You got millions of dollars from him to fix up the playground, and congratulations, it's beautiful. What we want there is 124 units that were promised 25 years ago to me to build on site. No market, all affordable. We want that to happen as soon as possible, and so do the leaders of that development. I also want to mention the fact that on vacancies, I know the city council is working with you, but just at Amsterdam Houses, we have 40 vacancies and you have 6,000 citywide. We've got to find a way to fund and to renovate those vacancies. That is incredibly important. And just as we talk about some of these issues, and rad PAC is just one of them, but even just with regular developments, I know that you're working hard on figuring out how to do the repair requests better. But just this year, we've got bricks falling through a tenant ceiling, we've got a gaping hole in a tenant's floor, we've got broken AC, we've got running water that's a lack of. All of these issues have got to be addressed in a more expeditious manner, again, keeping the individuals who are involved up to date. We're also going to work with Garden Riverside to increase and support the tenant leadership. We have people who are going to be going door to door to try to get more people involved with the residents. Nothing more important than resident input on a constant basis. I'm here to say thank you to NYCHA for being responsive on some level, but for God's sake, you have to work with those who are doing the construction. There is a real disconnect when they get to maintaining and repairing and making sure that if rad PAC goes through, every single detail has to be of the highest quality and has to have input from the tenants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Assembly Member Gail Brewer. Next up, comment slip number 9, Diana Stewart. Please make your way to the mic and share your comment. Please be reminded, the time limit for comment is 2 minutes. Diana Stewart, oh, there you are.
I am an ally of the Elliott Chelsea Houses. In 1978, I worked for Hudson Guild and I was the director of Family Life Services in the housing project. So I have been an ally for many years, but at this point, the idea of demolition is horrendous. The other thought of moving from a Section 9 to a Section 8 is unacceptable. The people in the building of 100 elderly people, I was not elderly when I worked there, but I am now. And I'm telling you, this is not the way to do it. You cannot take the building with 100 elderly and many of them disabled residents and demolish their building first without any attitude of what your needs are. This is outrageous, and it's very discriminatory. I'm a licensed master social worker, and this attitude is very discriminatory towards elderly and disabled people in our community. I live across the street in a different component to 89th Avenue with my 12-year-old grandson and my 44-year-old daughter and her husband. And it is not acceptable for anyone in the neighborhood to have the air contamination that would go with demolition. It is not acceptable. It is outrageous. And to do this, especially to elderly and disabled people already. So thank you for reconsidering this project and not doing it the way it's terrifying everyone in the community. Not only the people in the public housing in NYCHA's project, but everybody. Everybody in our neighborhood will be victimized by this.
Thank you for your comment. Next up, we have speaker number 10 in the audience, Jay Medina. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your first name. It's either Juan or Joe. I'm so sorry if I got that incorrect. Third call. Okay, moving on. Next speaker is number 11. I'm sorry, this was written in Chinese and I don't understand, so if you recall filling out speaker slip number 11, please step up to the mic and share your comments. Speaker number 11. Translator, could you make your way to the front? I need some assistance with translating this name from a Chinese language speaker.
请问那个姓有金相流的人住在马顿顿一大道的。
We're going to move to our virtual participants. Rosalinda Toole on Zoom, please unmute yourself and begin your comments.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
My name is Rosalinda Toole. I'm here to state that creating more affordable housing defeats the purpose of deeply low-income housing, also known as Section 9. I visited conforming houses recently because one of my seniors passed away. While I was there at this development, converted to PAC, I witnessed firsthand that the circuit breakers are trapped behind the kitchen cabinet with shelves. This is not only a safety concern, but a severe fire safety hazard. Who passed these apartment inspections? Furthermore, when trying to speak to the PAC management for Penn residents are trapped in a huge loop with constant change of different management and employees. This is exactly why PAC and REC are deeply concerned. Meanwhile, at my current development, we are under the comp. We are going through a kitchen and bathroom facelift. Yet the underlying infrastructure has concerning cracks running right through the hallways, down the building. The building is definitely leaning, and our intercoms haven't worked for decades. When I testified about these exact issues at the last housing hearing, I was told by the hearing panel chat to contact the resident engagement. I followed the instructions and my outreach was completely ignored. Cosmetic facelifts cannot mask structural neglect and severe code violations. We do not need cosmetic upgrades. We need structural integrity, fire safety, and real management accountability. Stop ignoring Section 8 residents. Thank you and have a blessed evening.
Thank you for that comment, Ms. Hall. Moving forward on our Zoom call, we have Karen Joseph. Please unmute yourself and begin your comments.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Yes, I would like to comment on this section 9. I don't know what's going on, but I'm a senior citizen myself, and I am clueless. So would somebody reach out to us, and as far as the engagement, resident engagement, we haven't had a meeting in 3 years, and I would like to participate in that because I am a former treasurer from back in 2021. So if someone could reach out to us, we're at 1010 East 178 Street in the West Farms area. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that comment, Ms. Joseph. Continuing with our Zoom callers, we have Christina Chase. Please unmute yourself and begin your comment.
Hi. My name is Christina Chase, and I'm second vice president of the Ravenswood Resident Association. At Ravenswood, we have ongoing gas outages impacting several of the buildings, including our senior centers, for months, exacerbating food insecurity and safety for many of our seniors. My water red becomes dark brown when I try to bathe myself or my 3-year-old, who is now anxious during bath time. At Ravenswood, we have broken doors, broken mailboxes, broken fences, and broken playgrounds. Elevator outages and mold are commonplace. These are byproducts of the way in which management and NYCHA has failed us, despite all the accomplishments listed in this annual plan. Stop bleeding us dry to justify our privatization, infill, or demolition. We do not want what's in this annual plan. We do not want infill or any new development that's not Section 9. We don't want PAT, the Preservation Trust, or any conversion program. And we don't want or support the mayor's block-by-block plan. We need you, NYCHA board members and residents in this room, to fight for full public investment by any means necessary. We need you to fight for and protect Section 9 public housing by any means necessary. No privatization or demolition of Fulton, Elliott, or Chelsea, or any development. We will keep fighting by any means necessary. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Chase. Final Zoom caller on this part of the program is Kim Grant. Please unmute yourself and start your comment. Second call for Zoom caller Kim Grant. Please unmute yourself and begin your comment.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
I'm from St. Nicholas Houses. My name is Kim Grant. I live in building 3, 277 West 127. I just want to say I'm happy that they're doing all the renovations. However, the bottom front door lobby door is always broke. Always. Every day somebody is fixing the lock, and every day the lock is broke. It's very dangerous. I'm also a senior citizen, and I just hope that we don't wait till somebody gets hurt before they are able to secure the front door. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Grant. Moving on to in-person commenters. Next up, we have Jeffrey Flowers. Jeffrey, please step up to the mic and begin your 2-minute comment period.
Good evening. First, I must say all honor, all power, and all glory belongs to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. I'm Jeffrey Flowers, a Farragut resident and a member of the Church of the Open Door. With all of the privatization that's going on, and with the PAC, it's not really working. I stand for Section 9.
We need to stand strong in the development community for Section 9. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Flowers. Next up, we have Manuel Martinez. Please step up to the mic. Number 14, Manuel Martinez. Okay. Please step up to the mic, Mr. Martinez, so that all can hear.
Hi, Noah. Good. Start it up. I just want to say real brief. The treatment of Councilmember Banks and Councilmember Brewer, I love them both, but the treatment really indicates the ideology that's sitting up on that stage today. They stopped the clock with Councilmember Brewer while they challenged Councilmember Banks. That speaks to what we're dealing with here today. Now, every year, NYCHA presents an annual plan that maps out the future of public housing. But a plan is only as honest as the voice behind it. An annual plan developed upon the distortion of the rights of public housing residents is a dangerous document. Because when you diminish the voice of the people, you expand the power of a corrupt system. Federal law gives public housing residents the right to organize in their own interest, the right to participate in management, in policy making, the right to influence decisions that affect our economic opportunities, our public safety, our quality of life, and the future of our communities. But NYCHA has chosen a different path. Instead of respecting those rights, it has treated them as burdens to be managed, controlled, and rewritten in bogus policy schemes like the MOA. It uses this MOA to create rules that resident councils never authorized, then impose those rules on the very resident councils federal law says are independent in representing the residents of our communities. When you control the voice of the people, you control the conversation. When you control the conversation, you control the outcome. And when you control the outcome, hundreds of thousands of public housing residents become subject not to the protections of federal law, but to the discretion of NYCHA and the rights of its executive, employees, and board decide, and the rights that the executive employees and board decide we should have. That is how communities lose their voice. That is how residents lose their leverage. That is how poverty becomes policy. And that is how RAD becomes something done to our communities where many residents feel like it's an act of violence.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Okay, this message is for the folks who are virtually on Zoom. If you're interested in sharing a comment, please press *9 to raise your hand so we can put you in our queue for an opportunity to share your comment. *9 for the folks who are on Zoom. Moving forward, speaker number 15, Salinas Miranda. Ms. Miranda, step up to the mic and share your comment.
Yes, I'm the second vice president of the NYCHA Houses, Salinas Miranda. NYCHA wants to do away with public housing and demolish our communities. Know that your number one weapon is your signature. The value of your signature is gold. Do not sign the lease. As long as your development remains public housing, you are not required to sign a lease. Repeat this message always. Do not sign the lease. Tell your neighbors, spread the word. In the beginning, we focused on this, but over time, we found ourselves responding to the constant moves of the PAC formula. We thought these signatures would come only after the first replacement building was ready for moving. So we focused on other things. We did not know they would begin seeking these signatures from residents in buildings that were not scheduled for demolition yet. Now we know, and now you know. This message must reach everyone, always, through every form of outreach. Do not sign the lease. This is how you preserve public housing and remain on your Section 9 lease. We have the right to organize, speak out, and fight for our homes. That is the strength of your Section 9 tenancy. They need this process to appear tenant-driven, voluntary, and supported by residents. Meanwhile, residents are being pressured through fear, deceptive language, omitting information, and false claims that it's a done deal. We have been living under this attack for over 3 years, but we have not given up. The court may have lifted the temporary restraining order, but the conversion has not been approved by the federal government. And we are still fighting back. No demolition. And also, to the public, please sign the Action Network petition. No demolition of public housing in Chelsea. Open to all New Yorkers 18 and over. And remember, you don't have to sign the lease. Do not sign it.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Junior. Next up is speaker slip number 17, Aixa Torres. Please step to the mic and give your comments.
Thank you, Ms. Butler. Good evening. I just want to say that on behalf of my district, as the chair of the Manhattan South District, most of the complaints that you're hearing today about this whole RAD process is negative, and that's because my district has been the most affected. And what I've seen is, by the real estate department, bullying, tactics, not being fair, not being transparent, and there needs to be a moratorium. And this message is to the mayor. He just sent me a message on my phone, and I'm saying to him, you need to put a moratorium on all the RAD projects, especially when the residents are saying, no, we want to stay in Section 9. And to the board, what are you doing to help the residents, to help us get funding so that we can maintain our developments? What have you been doing? Nothing. And I respectfully, and I say that.
She's a district council president, and she told me herself, I don't even know my job. She's a district council president's member, and she told me herself she don't even know why they gave her the position, because she's of no value.
Please, let's maintain order. Thank you so much. Let's maintain order.
Thank you. And you should be ashamed of yourself.
Gentle reminder, folks. Gentle reminder, folks.
It's okay.
You don't even represent
It's okay. So I'm here today to support the Chelsea people. I'm here to support the residents who are saying no for Section 9. Thank you.
Gentle reminder, folks.
You don't represent your residents, and you just in there for the glory. You do absolutely nothing for your residents.
Please
District council president.
be mindful of the order of the meeting. Please do not speak out of turn. Much appreciated for your cooperation. Thank you so much. So we're going to move on to our online commenters from Zoom. Last, ma'am. We're taking these in order. I will double check that. Okay, give me a moment. Point of order. Point of order. Please be mindful and respectful of the folks in this space. Thank you so much. Your cooperation is truly appreciated. Moving to our Zoom callers. Last 4 digits of your telephone number, 9699. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and begin your 2-minute comment period. Caller 9699, last 4 digits of your phone number. Please press *6. Unmute yourself to begin your comments.
Good afternoon, everyone. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you from God, Father, and our Lord Jesus Christ. My name is Michelle Stone. I'm a Hebrew Jew. I'm also a disabled postal worker. My quality of life has changed since this has occurred. I'm a NYCHA Section 8 voucher holder for a one-bedroom. I've been searching for an apartment for the past 6 years now. I'm in need of an emergency evacuation due to water intrusion. So anyhow, thank you for your time and have a nice pleasant evening, everyone.
Thank you for that comment. Moving on, next caller on Zoom, last 4 digits of your telephone number, 0253. 0253, press star 6 to unmute yourself and begin your comments.
Good evening, everyone. I appreciate that I had this opportunity to make my comment. Based on what's going on here, my name is Jose. I live in Fulton County. I've been living here for 37 years. It's been my home. I met a lot of friends, family, friends. This is a nice neighborhood. You know, it's fair. I'm happy to see people of my race and other people that love to live here. If make friendships with other people. It's hard. It's hard for everyone to live out there. And these homes are affordable for low-income people. It's hard to find a job out there, really. It is. But the fact that I've been hearing you guys want to move people out of here, I'm sorry. I'm not moving. There's other people out there. So I can move. This is their home. This is their home. You're gonna relocate me for what? To make room for people that don't work? Let me tell you something. You need people like this. We're the hardworking people of this city. We are New York. We make this city run. The fact that you're going to ruin other people's lives of how they're living is unjust. So, make my voice heard and remember this. And I agree. If you get a petition, someone gives it to you, they're telling you to sign it? No, nothing's official. You can't push anyone out of their home. This is where they live. We're here to fight for our homes, whether you like it or not. But you are not moving anyone out of here. You're going to give them what they deserve. And we have the right to be here. I'm not just talking for my family. I'm talking for everyone that lives in Chelsea, that lives in these apartments. And now, for me to hear this, it's disturbing. We're trying to make a living here. You guys make it impossible. You guys think you guys have it right. But you...
Thank you for that comment. Next Zoom caller, Dana Eldon. Please press star 9 or star 6 or unmute yourself and begin your 2-minute comment period.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay, because I can't hear you because certain aspects of this meeting and how it's on Zoom have been restricted. So I've been fighting for the last hour trying to get connected where I can hear. I don't read sign language. So at the end of the day, I depend on my hearing apparatus. I have 3 different ones and I can't hear. But I'm going to get to the point of what I have to say. This is all about money. This is all about people making money off of the land and off of the people who live in these developments and have lived in them all their lives. And now you want to uproot them so you can build something new, so you can get some market rent money in there and make billions. At the end of the day, this is wrong. This is wrong. It is 100% wrong. And at the end of the day, I can tell you this much. I will fight tooth and nail for my development not to be transferred over to Section 8 or any kind of rat-a-pat. I will fight you to the death. If for those that are suffering now, I feel sorry for them. I do. And I pray for them every day because this breaks my heart to see these people fighting for their homes. Get a grip, y'all. Have some heart. Don't you have a soul? Stop forcing people to lose their homes and try to offer them something you say is better. It's not better. It's criminal almost what you're doing to people. And I yield. God bless you all.
Thank you for that comment, Ms. Elgin. Moving on to the in-person commenters. Next up, we have Loretta Humphrey, speaker number 16. Loretta Humphrey, please make your way to the mic for your 2-minute comment.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
I thought HUD was going to be here. All right. Greetings, NYCHA board members and to the community and to my FHA residents. My name is Loretta Humphrey. I live in a federal housing acquired home, which is a private home, which is managed by the New York City Housing Authority. Now, NYCHA, while I appreciate you addressing some of my prior concerns, I am writing to formally appeal for the reinstatement of the original mortgage-free home ownership plan, and that it be updated to reflect the current needs of the FHA residents. I request that the FHA acquired homes be added to NYCHA's official agenda. Specifically, I urge the board and the real estate department to transition away from HUD Section 32. This program is not viable for the residents, particularly the elders, due to the financial risk associated with securing a mortgage when they are over the age of 60, 65. Instead, I am asking, and the residents are asking for the original 5H home program, which was afforded to the prior residents that got their homes through that program. We should have been grandfathered in, not taken out. And now, I remember that the project home allowed NYCHA to transfer these titles for the homes and the property, and by doing that, you give a sense of security. You get people are able to access programs like heating, air conditioning, whatever we need.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Humphrey.
We need to be able to fix our homes because NYCHA is negligent over the last 20 years.
Thank you, Ms. Humphrey, for your comments. Please be reminded, if you have not had an opportunity to complete your comments because of the 2-minute time period, please feel free to send an email to annual plan comments, one word, at NYCHA.nyc.gov. Thank you so much. Moving on, we have speaker number 18, Christina Cabral. Christina, please step to the mic and share your comments.
Hola, buenas noches, mi nombre es Cristina Cabral. Estoy aquí, de verdad estoy bien consternada porque veo que yo estoy en el programa por abuso doméstico. Estoy aquí defendiendo a las mujeres de abuso doméstico. Tengo el programa de PHA y me devastó cuando dijeron que teníamos que irnos de donde vivimos. Busqué ayuda La única ayuda que dijeron que podíamos tener era la de NYCHA. Fui a NYCHA y busqué ayuda. Y ahora estoy desconternada porque veo que NYCHA está tratando de cogernos y de ayudarnos a todos los que estamos en esta situación. Pero veo que aquí hay mucho más. Veo mucha gente que está devastada también por la sesión 9 y por la de sesión 8 y que no espera a nosotros los que estamos en el programa con ustedes. Lo del voucher de EHD. De verdad, me siento muy mal porque yo esperaba que cuando a mí me dieron esta oportunidad de yo mudarme de donde yo vivía y ahora me lo están quitando porque fui abusada por un policía que trató de matarme a mí y a mi perrita y ahora me quieren sacar de donde me siento segura y protegida. Creo que es algo injusto que muchas personas lo quieran desahogar de su casa. Lo único que le pido a todos ustedes es que por favor tengan en cuenta a todas estas personas que vinieron aquí y que yo estoy dando la cara, que el abusador me puede ver, pero no me importa porque estoy luchando.
Thank you for your comment. Next up for in-person comment, speaker number 19, Maria Thomas. Please make your way to the mic for your 2-minute comment. Maria Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maria Thomas. I am a NYCHA resident and speaking on behalf of myself. I am also a CUNY graduate student. And tonight, I am here because I believe knowledge is power. I have a few questions. What is the purpose of NYCHA in your neighborhood and NYCHA hearings and all these events if us residents are not receiving any follow-up or feedback? I haven't received any feedback since my last presentation. My second question is about equity and representation. Why is there such a visible difference between the racial makeup of NYCHA executive leadership and the frontline workers and residents who make our communities? As a Black woman, I cannot ignore history. During slavery, there were carefully staged images intended to portray enslaved people as being treated well, while the underlying system of inequities remained unchanged. Does it sound like NYCHA? If NYCHA is committed to equity, will it provide public data showing the racial demographic of its leadership, workforce promotion, and advancement opportunities? Third, why are NYCHA residents with bachelor's degrees and master's degrees are not taken into account for leadership roles at NYCHA? When I speak about NYCHA leadership, I don't speak about the board. The board is very diverse. I ask the residents to go on Google and search NYCHA executive leadership. And then you compare it with the workers on the ground and tell me if it doesn't remind you of the master slave period. Also, in 2024, here we are. In 2024, Florida Law School discovered a disparity with NYCHA in which Hispanics and Blacks were not given the same federal funding as the rest of the residents. Go do some research and please come back. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Thomas. Before we move on to the next in-person speaker, I just want to remind the folks on Zoom, if you are interested in sharing a comment, on Zoom, please press *9 to raise your hand, and you will be placed in the queue to have your 2-minute comments. Again, *9 if you'd like to comment via Zoom. Moving forward, we have speaker number 20, Mateen Sarti. Mateen, make your way to the mic and share your 2-minute comments.
Good evening. My name is Mateen Sarsi. I serve as the co-chair of the Housing, Land Use, and Zoning Committee
for Manhattan Community Board 9. I'm also an employee of the New York City Housing Authority. However, I am testifying today in my personal capacity, and the views expressed in this statement are my own and do not reflect any official policy or position. I'm submitting a 19-page comment outlining the deficiencies and recommended fixes for the draft plan for the HUD form, as well as the subsequent attachments A through O. First, this plan hides the systemic loss of public housing. By lumping traditional public housing units together with Section 8 vouchers, the authority masks the steady dismantling of our public housing footprint. I recommend the Section 9 asset retention table in Section A1 to show the exact net loss of public units. Second, handing our developments over to private companies inflates management costs, loss of uniform administration, and provides the authority justification to provide residents what they think is deserved. NYCHA needs to stop making excuses on self-imposed hardship, keep public control, and address operations through reform, technology, and social impact partnerships. Third, the draft needs to show executive control of the resident advisory board, whose time to review the plan was insufficient, nor provides meaningful feedback other than what appears to be presented. We must grant the RAB actual power over major plan changes and encourage the development of resident management corporation program. Furthermore, instead of handing public assets over to private management, we should turn scattered site properties into resident-owned HDFC cooperatives. Building real arrangement laws for working families. Finally, NYCHA must stop playing victim to the budget cuts. If you actually took the time to consider residents as constituents, you would have an entire population as justification to build power that the federal government hasn't seen in over 100 years. Thank you.
At this time, I want to flag our Spanish language interpreter. Could you please step up to the mic? Spanish language interpreter, one of you step up to the mic. We're going to call Christina Cabral back to the mic so that we can directly translate what she would like to share in terms of her comments with the rest of us. Spanish interpreter, please make your way to the mic. Christina, please stand up. Interpreter, please remind Christina that she'll need to pause so that you'll have an opportunity to directly translate the information she would like to share with the broader audience.
My name is Cristina Cabral. I'm here because I have the voucher AHB. And I represent all women of domestic abuse or domestic violence. Because to us, they were assigned that voucher. But because I am very concerned when I received the letter that they will be taking me out of my apartment, I was terrified and started to find help. And I went to Atlantic Avenue, Section 8. And they told me the only respond or help that I would have is to ask for Section 8 NYCHA. But I'm seeing that there are a lot of people in Section 8 and 9 that are in the same situation as myself. And in what situation are leaving us that we are 3.5 years with this voucher? If there are a lot of people that are in the same situation as us. And they are going to take us out of the houses that we are living on. And the only thing that we are left with is to win this battle. And wherever I go to find help, they told me it's because of the situation of the government. If the Section 8 abandoned us because they couldn't help us, and if they didn't fight for us in Section 8, you need to fight for us in Section 8. Why don't you help us? If you have the control. We are now depending on all of you.
Thank you for that comment. Appreciate it, Ms. So just for awareness, folks, one voice, one mic here. I allowed an extended period of time for Ms. Ms. Cabral to extend her time because of the translator. So there's more time allotted for this instance, okay? So that is why we went beyond the 2-minute comment limit for this particular circumstance. As a reminder, interpreters, Spanish, Russian, Mandarin, and Cantonese. If a resident or commenter steps to the mic and they're in need of your services, please be proactive, stepping up to the mic beside them so that the audience members can understand and participate in the comments that they would like to share. Okay, so translators, flagging for you, please be proactive from this point forward in terms of assisting residents with translation so that all of us can understand what is being said. Thank you so much. At this point in time, we're going to move back to our Zoom callers. Queen Dora Battle, please unmute yourself and share your 2-minute comments. Queen Dora Battle. Queen Dora Battle, second call. Ms. Battle, I believe you're unmuted. Please start your comments. Third and final call. Okay, moving forward. Terry Capuzano. Unmute yourself, Mr. Capuzano, and start your 2-minute comment period. Oh, okay. I have you on Zoom. Step up to the mic and start your 2-minute comments.
My question is that we're heading into the PAC program, fortunately or maybe unfortunately. The question is, why weren't we told about CompMod at the beginning of this process? Another thing is, why were all for-profit developers picked instead of nonprofits like JASA? So, and we're also for non-demolition of Meltzer Tower. A lot of our tenants are, they don't speak English, but PAC did a presentation on the 17th, and it seems to have woken up some of the tenants that are against privatization. So that's the questions that I want is that if there is more funding for CompMod, we would like for Maine Meltzer to remain and probably head into that program. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment, Mr. Campuzano. Next Zoom caller, Patricia Hodge Stephens. Unmute yourself and begin your 2-minute comment period. Patricia Hodge Stephens, unmute yourself and start your 2-minute comments.
I was just watching it on YouTube. I didn't have any.
Yeah, it's still running, but I'm watching. But it's the signal.
Second call from Ms. Stephens on Zoom. Please unmute yourself and begin your comments. Last call for Ms. Stephens to unmute yourself and start your 2-minute comment period.
Because if you do control shift escape, it'll tell you.
Okay, moving forward, we're going to now pivot back to our in-person commenters. Speaker number 22 is Gail Rivers. Please step up to the mic and share your 2-minute comments.
It's banging.
My name is Gail Rivers, and I live in the Second Atlantic Terminal. And I just want to say that renovations from the roof, outside the buildings, intercoms, inside apartments, and inspections are done. When will Section 8 pay back payments? Tenants are paying their share of the rent suggested by Section 8. Statements show increases on a monthly basis. When will Section 8 take care of the situation? Thank you.
Thank you for those comments, Ms. Rivers. Moving forward, speaker number 23, Dr. Jesse Fields. Please make your way to the microphone to share your comments. And Dr. Jesse Fields.
Yes, this is Dr. Jesse Fields of the Committee for Independent Community Action. Your annual plan that you and the mayor are advancing is a plan to destroy public housing Section 9. It results in the eviction displacement over time of public housing residents. Many have spoken about the issues, the problems. Councilmember Chris Banks, I think said it all. I'm speaking to the residents here in this room this evening. I'm speaking to all of us here. We have to come together. We have to organize. The power is in the grassroots. Everybody in this room, before you leave tonight, should sign this petition. I will be here at the door as you walk out. Join with the tens of thousands of public housing residents and supporters who say yes to keeping public housing public, Section 9, and no to privatizing public housing under RADPAT and the Preservation Trust. We have enough people, we've heard enough from NYCHA. We know enough about what they're doing. We need to organize. We have enough people right here, right now. We need to come together, talk to your neighbors, get their information, hold meetings. We can build a citywide movement against privatization. We can make sure that no elected official, including the mayor of our city, who we elected to make a change, to bring a new vision, new possibilities. We need to build this movement. And we are going to do that. We are going to organize. We have this opportunity. That's what we should be doing at this meeting. We should all come together. So my time is okay. Stand up, residents. We have to support each other. We have to fight and build power from the grassroots. Dr. Martin.
Thank you, Dr. Fields. Moving forward, speaker number 24, Joshua Barnett. Please make your way to the mic for your 2-minute comments. Mr. Barnett.
Hi, it's working. My name is Josh Barnett. I'm actually a NYCHA employee, 25 years in the Architecture and Engineering Department. Also a proud member of Local 375, DC 37. And I want to stand in support with the people who are opposing the demolition in Chelsea. You know, as a New Yorker, as a union member, as a NYCHA employee, as an architect. I see it as an unmitigated disaster that's fueling not only privatization, but gentrification. I see it taking us on the way of the Chicago Housing Authority, which is exactly what happened. We're gonna demolish your houses, we're gonna bring you back. That second part never happened. Chicago doesn't exist anymore. I see another Hudson Yards in the making, an environmental disaster. We really can't afford, literally can't afford it. What I really want to say though is that the NYCHA drive towards privatization, which is hitting the residents so hard, as people have said, is also hitting us from the inside. When I look at the plan, I don't see anything in the plan about how many consultants are on the payroll. I don't see anything in the plan how many private contractors are on the payroll. I don't see anything in the plan about how many staff augmenters who do what we do and more than 2 times the cost are on the payroll. You know, the privatization, I don't see a cost-benefit analysis. That's how much AI is displacing NYCHA workers. I don't see any cost-benefit analysis about how much design build is going to hit us. You know, and the point of it is that I don't see anything in the plan about how top-heavy this organization is. How many vice presidents do we have? We really need to be hiring caretakers and skilled trades workers and building inspectors and designers. We always see that the money isn't there. The money is there if we stand up and we say we need to tax the rich. The money is there if NYCHA stands up and says we need to shift money from the bloated war budget back to HUD so we can build housing here. The money is there if we stand together as workers and the community and the residents and say we don't need to preserve public housing, we need more of it. The money is there.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, for your comment. Gentle reminder for the folks on Zoom, if you're interested in sharing your comments via virtually, please press *9 to raise your hand or the raise hand function in the Zoom application, and you'll be queued to share your comments. Again, *9 if you're on the phone. If you're using the Zoom app to participate, use the raise hand function, and we will queue you to participate in this public hearing. Moving on, we have speaker number 25, Samantha either Jensen or Johnson. Please step up to the mic to share your 2-minute comments. Samantha Johnson or Jensen, last name?
Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Step up to the mic to share your 2-minute comments.
Good evening, my name is Samantha Johnson, and I'm an advocate and a NYCHA resident, and I stand in solidarity with the Save Section 9 Coalition, as well as the FEC Coalition members. I also stand in opposition of the pusher, rad, and pack, and any demolition and the bold removal of Section 9. This plan has a lot of pages, but it is not transparent, nor does it provide the voices of what residents' protections are, and for the meaningful opportunity to shape the decisions that come directly from us, and that affects our homes and the quality of our lives. Working class NYCHA residents continue to receive fewer responses to our needs as we are heard by our fellow neighbors that just spoke through many failed pilots, and while our budgets in NYCHA have increased to consultants, lobbyists, real estate developers, corporate interests and private developers, and outside interests who are rushing this process that continues to grow. Each year, a plan is presented that shows a gloss over the real issues, the veiled leadership and the inflated budgets and lack of communication and the incompetence of on all sides. Our residents are dying, and not because of the repairs only, but because of the unnecessary stress, the neglect, the misinformation, and uncertainty created by the authority that has threatened their livelihood and their lives. Through the fine print that's in this book, and we've forgotten responsibility to the people. We are not leaving, and we are still going to be here to fight. For far too long, NYCHA has found ways to intimidate us, to silence our resident voices by not allowing TA presidents to have elections, and therefore also treating us as the only, and not treating us as the only partners that should matter. Stop promoting privatization, and though it's acting as if it's a privilege for our residents, it is not a privilege. It is a fast track to discriminative and classist discrimination that encourages displacement. So I ask the board in the current administration, who do you protect and who are you serving? The mayor's
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Thank you for your comments, 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 Ms. Johnson. We have other folks who need an opportunity to share their comments as well. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. This is a perfect time to remind folks, if you did not have an opportunity or do not have an opportunity to share all that you would like to share in this space because of the time restrictions, please feel free to send an email to Annual Plan Comments, one word, at NYCHA.nyc.gov. Again, if you would like to continue to share comments or did not have an opportunity to share fully what you would like to share in this space because of the time restriction, please send an email. Please send an email to Annual Plan Comments at NYCHA.nyc.gov. Moving on. So we're going to go back to our Zoom callers. Jeff, Tiano, please unmute yourself and share your 2-minute comments. Jeff, Tiano.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, my name is Jeffrey Taneo. I have the privilege of serving as president of Latin House Tenant Association. This plan is being presented as a roadmap for the future of NYCHA. If that's the case, then it must be judged by whether it delivers real equal pathways for residents, not just multiple labels for preservation. The plan presents the 3 strategies: PAC, the Preservation Trust, and Comprehensive Modernization, but only 2 of those pathways are backed with the scales, financing structure, and implementation framework needed to function as a true system-wide solution. ComMod is listed, but it is not treated as an equal option. It's not resourced as one, and it's not positioned as a viable path of development that should remain in Section 9. That is not by our mayor or any of the bodies that represent the vision. That's a core issue. Residents are told that they have a choice, but a choice without equal investment is not a choice. It's pressure shaped by unequal options. When one pathway becomes a defined financing model, a modernization pipeline with an institutional backing, while another is left without competent support, the outcome is already being structured in advance. And let's be clear, the reason we have all these issues is the divestment made across decades against Section 9. And now we are at the risk of being exposed to debt, private interest, and unfortunately the lack of accountability that we find ourselves as NYCHA residents always losing ourselves in that chain of accountability. We cannot point towards who dropped the ball on a project, the person that should be penalized for things, and we have many NYCHA employees that work with us in our communities, that are part of our community, that are still facing inequity even within the structure itself. And so we really need accountability for this. We really need to ensure that our voices are being heard and that the options are actually being promoted as such. And this message at this point goes to all other NYCHA residents. We are 16% of New York City's population. If this divestment happened because of the federal government, no one is standing up for us for Section 9, then guess what? We need to consolidate our political power and come together and make sure that our voices are actually heard. Thank you, and I yield.
Thank you for that comment. Next up on Zoom, we have Michelle Chin. Please unmute yourself and share your comments. Michelle Chin. Okay, Ms. Chin lowered her hand, so we're going to move forward.
Hi, can you hear me?
There you are. Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'm just going to file my complaint here, although I have already emailed to your email address twice. I received no response. So it's just about my frustrating experience. I have a number of these opportunities, but all failed because NYCHA has been withholding this important document, RFTA, the form in order to go through the process of leasing up. And I have lost 4 opportunities so far, and I just received another mini lottery through Housing Connect, but again, NYCHA is refusing to issue the the important forum to complete the leasing process, the visa process. I don't know what's going on. I have been issued a number of times the HCV. Every time I receive, I do not get the form in order to go through the visa process. And you know how difficult it is to find a private tenant in order to accept Section 8. But when I finally found one and I pressed for the form, and I was told that there was a new policy that would not allow me to transfer. So it is about transferring from PVP to SCV. And that was the previous situation, but I have been requesting for the form for 2 years now so far. So and then they finally sent me the form only after my voucher expired. So they issued another voucher in April. The most recent one was April 15. But now they refuse to give me the form again, saying that was the policy of February 18. But that my letter was issued afterwards. So I have filed many letters requesting for internal hearings, no response. Also, every time I file letters or emails, I always CC to the governing agencies, and I receive no response. And the current lottery now, if I, miss again, I don't think I'll be lucky again to win any lotteries, and then I would be stuck again. So I just like to know why that I am facing such a difficulty. And the other thing is that I also applied for reasonable accommodation and received no determination. And my application of the portal was somehow changed into something totally different. Even though I have already submitted all the documents, now the portal information was gone.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Chin. We only have time for one more commenter in person. That person is number 26, Doreen Goggins. Doreen Goggins or Goggins? Goggins? Doreen Goggins? Please step up to the mic, Ms. Goggins. Step up to the mic, Ms. Goggins, so that we all can hear you.
Here we go. All right, hi. My name is Doreen Goggins. I'm the president for the FHA Home Resident Council, which is an entity of Scattered Homes, which is a part of NYCHA. I'm here because my heart is hurting. I'm sad. I look and I'm listening, and I'm here for everyone, the people, because if something happens to one of us, it's happening to all of us, okay? My problem is, we were never included in this process. No resident leaders, no resident at all. Our community was left out of the process when you started to make these decisions for us. Our rights have been violated because we can make our own decisions. You never gave us the audacity or the time or communicate or say, well, let's bring the people in also at the table. NYCHA has been doing this for years, before I was born. Okay, but I'm here to say that we need to stay in Section 9. We're going to stay in Section 9. We need to fund Section 9, we got billions and billions of dollars, and you're going to